The Reaper, the Maelstrom, and the Thief is a Dungeons & Dragons show by RollCast, intended for mature audiences. It contains mature themes, strong language, violence, and drug references. Full content warnings can be found on the episode's description.
Hello and welcome back to the table. As usual, I am Tom, your DM. I am joined by, of course, JB, also known as Ragnarok, half-orc bard. Gregor, our dragonborn cleric, played by Coogan. Coogan appears to have frozen for a second there. Very regal pose when he froze. That was great. And, of course, our human monk, Iyvak, portrayed, of course, by Gaz. So, as usual, we're just going to jump straight into the summary, as quite a lot happened last session, and also nothing at all. But we'll jump into that right now. So, having finally begun their trip, the group continued their journey, leaving Dinloika behind and passing through a dense forest. Although they stuck to the path, at both Ebchar and Amrius's insistence, they still found themselves passing through the forest for a seemingly endless amount of time, passing through various mini-biomes within. On the second day through the forest, their journey was interrupted by the sounds of a panicked man running towards them. As he drew near, it became apparent he was a researcher of some kind, who stopped by the group. Upon seeing them, he begged for help, telling the group that they were after him. After some investigation, the group came to learn that the man had stolen a Vespan queen bee and was being chased by a swarm of angry subjects. Rag, the only member who knew what a Vespan bee was and how deadly their toxin could be, pleaded with the group to just be on their way as he could hear the incoming swarm. Instead, though, Iyvak opened the jar containing the queen, and although he found Rag's apprehension amusing, he relented, and upon hearing how deadly they could be, he tossed the jar deep within the forest. The group continued on, and pausing only to hear the man's pained screams before silence fell upon the forest again. Slightly disturbed, the group pressed onwards. Another couple of days passed without incident, and finally the group exited the forest and came out into a vast land of rolling hills and plains, with the mountains of Menel peaks a small speck in the distance. They followed the road for another few days until, on one lunch break, Rag, Gregor, and Raynor decided that they wished to hunt some food, as well as try and call Bimit down, who at this point had not been seen in a few days, as he was scouting from above. During this hunt, Raynor demonstrated his skill with a bow to Gregor, killing both a rabbit and a dog that was hunting said rabbit with a single shot, whilst Rag picked flowers and discovered some curious purple creepers, which he had stored within his backpack. As the hunt happened, Iyvak and Dravlin stumbled upon a mystery. A set of clothes and belongings left strewn on the road with no visible owner. Although Dravlin cautioned him, Iyvak picked up a pendant, and although he was fine in the end, for a split moment, it was as though he could feel his body turn to smoke. This then created a small debate within the group as to whether or not they should investigate, with Iyvak wishing to make sure that the group were not walking into any traps. Though in the end, they agreed to leave it, but not before Redmond acquired the clothes and a rapier for himself. At this point, the hunting party had returned with their catch, with most of the group being disgusted at the killing of a dog, creating yet another argument between Fu and Raynor. The group continued travelling the plains once more for days, although Gregor lost his rabbit on the first evening due to a tenacious group of rats. On these evenings, Rag decided that he would try and train/break Bimit as he was beginning to become concerned that the dragon would stop obeying his commands very soon and could pose a danger. Unfortunately, the first night was a bust, with Bimit finding it all very confusing. During one of their days travelling, the group fell foul to a travelling cleric of the Church of Justice called Mendime. Mendime essentially forced the group to confess any illegal sins they had committed, except Rag, who fortunately, for the entire group, resisted the compulsion. It was due to this that the group learnt of Iyvak's murdering of a guard, Gregor murdering 3 clerics, as well as their failed smuggling mission, and of Fu committing a mercy killing. Mendime fined them as he saw necessary, but almost fell prey to an attack from an irate Iyvak, who only held himself back out of respect for Amrius. Once more the group set off travelling, with Rag trying to train/break Bimit on the evenings. As the nights passed and the group found themselves traversing canyons and valleys, getting ever closer to Menel peaks, both Rag and Bimit found themselves getting more and more frustrated until they both finally hit breaking point, and Rag called off their sessions. Upon returning to the camp, Bimit flew into the sky in a rage, lighting up the sky with fire. All of the noise awoke Iyvak, who tried to discuss the matter with Rag calmly, in an attempt to make him see that although his efforts were of a good intent, if he carried on the way he was, he would be the one to push Bimit into the rampaging monster Rag feared he would become. Angry and frustrated, Rag told Iyvak to look after Bimit himself, before storming off to bed. The next morning, with tensions running high, Rag apologised to Iyvak for his response the previous night, stunning Iyvak into being unable to respond, only coming to when Gregor tried talking to him. Realising how rude he had been to Rag, especially considering the rarity of apologies from Ragnarok, Iyvak caught back up with him and the two discussed how to ensure Bimit would not become a danger. They returned back to camp to find Gregor discussing previous conquests with Bimit, and although Bimit was still furious with Rag, his demeanour lightened slightly when Iyvak told him he had spoken with Rag. At this point, Gregor discovered about the training, but respectfully asked Bimit if he wouldn't mind trying to fly with Gregor on his back. Bimit agreed, and the two took off in the air, amazing the rest of the group. They hovered high above Ixen before deciding to try and hunt some salt rabbits within the salt plains, and they set off, leaving the rest of the group wondering if they were going to return. And that is our summary. So, Iyvak and Rag, you guys and the rest of the group have essentially just seen Bimit and Gregor fly off, like just straight off into the air. You're not quite sure where they've gone, but they seem to be flying north from where you are, almost like the distance that you've, almost the direction that you've just come from.
I'm just going to look at Rag and try and gauge his mood.
No, I'm not going to say anything actually.
Yeah.
What time of day is it, sorry?
At this point in time, it is early to mid-morning, so no later than, say, 9 o'clock.
Well, I feel breakfast would be a idea.
I guess no breakfast for Gregor.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Let's just hope he comes back, eh?
I'll walk over to the fire.
Yeah, the fire is still just like
Yes,
crackling.
it is. It's crackling. I'm just going to sit down next to it.
Yeah, so you are now sat in front of the fire. It's dying slightly, as in, you know, like, it's still going, but it's starting to, the flames aren't as high as it was maybe 5-10 minutes ago. It's starting to ember down a little bit, but it's still generating a lot of heat.
I'll stoke it.
With the stoking and the air that's coming from it, flames reach up a little bit more again.
I'm going to take my gold goblet out and pour some water in it.
Yeah.
And keep that on the fire, next to the fire.
What, to heat it up, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yeah, so... Yeah, you just kind of reach out, you put it in next to the fire, whatever you're trying to do, and after about 2 or so minutes you can see steam starting to rise up from it.
Any of our party members up?
You can see, yes, Redmond and Dravlan seem to be conversing amongst one another as they're kind of packing their tents away. Fu and Raynor are once again arguing with each other. They seem to be almost like in a competition to see who can hack away their shit the fastest. Ebchar is just kind of like stood next to the cart that's got the water barrel on it, and Amrius is just sat looking out.
What, near us? Like near the fire?
Yeah, he's not too far away from you guys at the fire, so you both are like sat right next to the fire. Amrius is pretty much sat on a tree stump around about 10 feet away from the fire.
So, Amrius, how long do you reckon we got now before we reach our destination?
So Amrius looks at you and just kind of looks further down like this little valley that you're at and just peeks his head upwards. And as he does, you can see like the looming form of Menel Peaks.
Yes, I believe that if we travel at the same speed that we have been for the last couple of days, we should be there by nightfall, most likely.
Tonight?
Yes, we've been traveling at a ballywell good pace, and we are making good progress. I believe that we're not very far ahead of schedule. There's only so far ahead of schedule one can take when they walk, but we are slightly ahead of schedule, yes.
Indeed. Well, that's grand. That's grand indeed.
Truly it is. As long as no unforeseen events occur during the day, we should get there with time to spare.
Well, that's why you employed our services.
Yes. Speaking of which, actually, you have just reminded me. When that dreadful cleric at Menheim accosted us all, your dragon friend, Gregor, I believe, yes. We'll talk about him in a second. I believe I saw him fly away with your pet dragon. But he did mention
bonding exercise, I believe.
Very well, very well. Would that be to... we will discuss that later. I do not wish for my mind to be sidetracked here. He did mention, however, along when he was being questioned by Meinheim, whatever his name was, about a smuggling mission that you attempted to carry out. Tell me, my dear boy, was that recent?
I'm going to pick my flask up from here and walk the opposite direction.
Okay.
Indeed.
He doesn't notice you, Rag.
Indeed it is. It was a rather complicated affair. Just keep in mind, it was a job that we had to do, but we didn't in the end. We decided better of it.
Roll deception for me, please, because you're lying out of your ass.
Well, no, we didn't do it.
Yeah, but it's not because you didn't decide to, it's because you fucked up.
Yeah, but we thought we'd better not do it now because it's too late.
Still roll deception. Nice try.
I haven't lied.
You
19.
fucking have. What was that, sorry?
19.
19. Okay, let me roll for him here for insight against your deception.
Oh, hang on, I've got a plus on that as well, haven't I? Hang on.
I hope you got a plus because he's... Oh.
No, I don't. I didn't decept. That's a word.
Yes, you did. You just.
19.
Yeah, he's literally got a 20. Not a natural. I can pan the camera down to the dice if you want.
I believe you. I don't distrust.
Well, he distrusts you, obviously, because you just lied to him.
I haven't lied, though.
You fucking have! You didn't decide. You didn't decide, oh no, we'd best not do it. You decided, oh, we fucked up and the guy's left anyway, let's stab a hole in it.
No, I did the duck, and it ended up being the next day, and then we decided, well, we best not do it then, because we ain't got time.
You know what, Amrius just kind of looks at you and goes... Forgotten his fucking voice there, because we're getting help. He just looks at you and goes, it did not sound like that from what Gregor described. How about you,
Amrius.
How about you describe why you decided not to carry out the smuggling mission then?
Amrius, as far as I'm concerned, that gentleman had no right to come up to us with his sorcery and start putting it on himself to divulge secrets that all of us, I'm sure, have in some way or another. Are you telling me you've been an angel your entire life?
He just kind of takes an inhale of breath. No, to do so would be to lie. However, you heard the majority of my secrets yesterday, and whilst I will admit I was not happy about the circumstances and how they played out, once a secret is revealed and taken out of the box, it cannot simply be put back in the box as if we had never heard it, can we?
Indeed not.
What I wish to inquire about regarding this smuggling mission and the time that it occurred is mainly if it will affect any future dealings we may have. You say that you decided better against it, but did you decide better against it because of a moral objection, or did you decide better against it because a guard saw you and you decided, no, this is not worth the hassle? You understand, of course, if a guard saw you and they can put two and two together, then any potential future endeavours that we may have potentially been sullied by this.
Can it be both?
Of course, my dear boy, it can always be both. However, if it is both, that may throw a... what is that term that Epchar uses? It may throw a goblin in the works, as it were.
I suppose this is a matter of ethics. It depends if you believe the end justifies the means.
And pray tell, what was the end to justify the means for smuggling illicit drugs into my hometown?
You know, for the life of me, I can't remember.
He lets this slide, he doesn't press on any further. Just kind of nods. Very well, as I say, I do hope that this smuggling attempt by yourself, and I'm presuming the rest of the group, if it was yourself involved and Gregor involved, I can only assume that Ragnarok was also involved. I can only hope that this does not tarnish the name of, he just kind of scratches his chin for a second, of the Solomonari. You'll see, not do very well for people to believe that an adventuring troop such as yourselves are untoward.
No, indeed. To be honest with you, my only concern when it comes to our name is that people will know we are reliable for the job we are employed for. That's...
Well, you say that, but although this is a bit of a... well, it's a bit of an odd thing to say, but if you're trying to elicit a response of trustworthiness and loyalty, would you believe that that is done by taking on
the smuggling mission that you did and then abandoning it. Surely
What?
it
So
shows
do you
quite
wish
the
we?
opposite.
Do you wish we?
Oh, no, dear boy, no. I'm not getting at that. I'm just saying that if you are taking on a job, then you should try to carry it through. If your entire creed, if your entire ethos of your adventuring troop is reliability, then you should not abandon it halfway through.
Oh well, Amrius, I must admit you are backing me into a rather a corner here. 1 minute you are saying that you do not want us to do it, and now you're saying that we should do it.
No, you misinterpret me, Iyvak. You misinterpret me. I'm not saying that you should do it. I'm merely giving advice for future endeavors. If you are to take on a job, make sure that it aligns with your moral compass before you agree to it, so that this reliability and trustworthiness which you are wishing for the word Solomonari to instill is kept intact. Obviously, at this point, obviously,
to
with
me, it sounds like you're a gentleman who are arguing that the world is a black and white situation. If we wish to elaborate on ethics, I'm afraid I'm sure we could go on all day. It's the same thing that if we had something to do which was for an ultimate good, would it be worth doing a little bad to get there?
Oh, quite. My entire question towards you about the ends justifying the means was quite simply towards that. I do not be mistaken. I do not believe that everything is black and white. I have partook in quests, as it were, that were not quite as good and evil as one would expect. However, they were in my younger days.
So you have me at a disadvantage, because that gentleman did not divulge those secrets for me to question you.
No, Iyvak. When you get to my age, you notice when one is about to cast a circle of truth. And with some of the abilities that I have, his just ruins across his body glow slightly at mention of it. You are able to occasionally negate such things, so just kind of trails off.
Well, okay. Again, it seems that you are questioning our honour.
Oh, no. I just wished to ensure that you're... Just kind of scratches the side of his face slightly. Previous exploits would not endanger our current mission or any future ones we may wish to act upon together.
No, it won't. Not at all. Especially as soon as though we never delivered the contraband in the first place. So...
Very well. You must understand, of course, that, like I say, even though my earlier adventurous days were shades of grey, as it were, the name Reap, the Reap family, when it comes to expeditions, archaeology, the study of history and whatnot, is quite reputable, and we do not wish to bring it down by illicit contracts. Or by, of course, being chased by guards across half the region.
Well, of course not. But why, regardless, Solmonari is a different name to the name that you hold. So
well, yes,
our actions will remain our own.
That is very true. Just as you are under our employ at the moment, any actions that you carry out whilst under our employ will also carry across to us. We are, at this moment in time, we are linked.
Temporarily. We are independent. It's an independent contract, is it not?
It is, my dear boy, of course it is. I just mean to say any actions that have happened whilst under our employ are linked to us, and of course, if you had carried out this attempted smuggling mission after you had been accepted onto our expedition, so after you had returned back from Beggar's Hollow, then it would not potentially reflect wisely upon myself.
No, absolutely not. I'll tell you this, if we are found for any wrongful doings while under your employ, I will help you with the stocks, my friend.
He just kind of laughs dryly. Very well, very well. That is all, Iyvak. I hope that I did not bring you too much discomfort with this line of questioning, but of course you understand I have to protect the interest of the group.
No, not at all. I understand you are just rubbing a wound that has yet healed. Letting that gentleman go after such an affront was rather difficult for me. I believe he overstepped his bounds for such a stranger that he was.
I would be in agreement with you there, Iyvak, yes. Unfortunately, though, just kind of deep into, whilst King Leivel's intentions are good, giving power to such people as that Mendime, even though the intent is good, the results are often not, and unfortunately, unless we wish to become fugitives from the very king himself, we cannot simply act upon our wishes and eliminate others, no matter how troublesome, irksome, or reviled as they may be.
Indeed. Let's just put it this way. I have a strong opposition to any ruler that thinks it's perfectly acceptable to go around with a magic stick divulging everyone's secret in front of everyone.
I agree, however...
What right does any being on this earth have to hold such power and be able to do it so willingly without any consequence?
Oh, I agree, and the next time I find myself in the audience of King Leivel, I will be bringing it up to him, as I said. I fear that among certain members or sects of the organization of the church, of the Justice Clerics, I believe they may be running with it as such. They might be going beyond their boundaries, as it were.
Indeed. And you know, as much I fear as well, if I ever meet this King Leibel, I worry I will also bring the matter up.
As long as you do it in a way that is not seen as threatening, you would be surprised at how accommodating King Leibel may possibly be.
Oh, do you like this king?
Like is not the term that I would use. I found him to be agreeable and able to hold a decent enough conversation. At the very least, if I was to compare King Leibel with King Titan, I would every single time say King Leibel. However, that does not mean that I do not have qualms with him, and there are not areas that we do not see eye to eye.
Imagine that.
There is a reason that until the last 8 months, I believe it was, that he had an advisor who actually worked alongside him. It was not until this advisor left, for Velden, I believe it was, that some of the other subdivisions within Zexstan started overstepping their boundaries. I believe this advisor kept everyone in line.
Interesting. Do you have any word of why he left?
Yes, he decided he quite often, this fellow, he quite often wandered around Ixon itself to get a general feel of the population, their feelings toward King Leibel, towards life in general, how things could be improved, and so on and so forth, when he found himself in Velden. And, well, he was there when the attack on Velden from the undead came, and it gets a bit hazy here. This is all just rumours and happenstance. However, it is said that he is now taking a temporary job there as one of the kind of heads, essentially, of one of the districts.
Really? What was this gentleman's name?
He just takes a second. Let me just roll it. Let's see if he does remember. I only met him once. He was in half elf. He seemed a bit. He was nice enough a lot of the time, but he seemed a bit uppity, a bit up himself. I believe his name with that roll was Lava Constance, or something along those effects.
Lava Constance.
Yes, I think I may have got his name slightly wrong. I seem to remember it was 2 letters then 3 letters. His last name was definitely Constance, though. Lava, Valar, maybe. I'm not sure.
Valar Constance.
Yes, that does ring a bell. Half elf chap. I do believe that he saw himself as a bit of a detective.
Yes, a rather effective one, I believe. Rather renowned through many of the districts.
Yes, that is quite why a lot of the divisions and groups that report the king's extent would not dare to step out of line whilst Valar was there, as he would be able to almost immediately deduct who was behind it. However, since he's left, they seem to have become slightly more emboldened.
What a small land this Ixon is. I've met this fellow.
Oh, he just raises his eyebrows. Oh, well, that is a surprise. You found yourself in Velden recently.
Yes, he was there. Forrest did. Anyway,
I was going to say, I believe I have taken up enough of your time with my blathering and questions. Your time spent in Velden can be the discussion for another day.
Yes, that's Sir Constance. Yes, yes. I'm going to. Good morning. I'll pack up my belongings and then let's make haste.
So yeah, he's this entire time he's kind of like had a little book out that he's been reading, so he just kind of slams it shut. Yes, we'd best be on our way very shortly. And at that he lets you go.
I'll come walking back through camp.
Well, now that Amrius has stopped, you're just like... Oh.
No, it's just in a passing moment. I'm getting a bit frustrated. We need to go. So I'll pass through the camp, past the fire. Like, come on, let's go!
No, there you are, Rag. Thank you.
I'll hand the cup of hot water I've heated up by the fire. Hand it to Iyvak. Iyvak!
Iyvak, you now have a cup of hot water.
Coffee.
Thank you. I need some coffee in it, though.
It's all in there.
Huh? Oh, have you put coffee in it?
Everything's in there. Everything's in there. What you need.
Oh. Well, thank you, and thank you for your backup there on that rather awkward questioning.
What awkward questioning?
Oh, doesn't matter. Sip of coffee. And as I pack up my tent, I'm going to say, you know, I look forward to us becoming independent again after this mission, you know, Reg.
Independent as in we go our separate ways, or? No. As a Stolmanari, back to being our team, what we say goes. I am becoming rather tired of this politicking. It's becoming rather testing. Solomonari.
As you both say that, you just hear in the background, just Solomonari, hurry the fuck up, we're leaving.
That's how cute.
Quickly roll my bedroll up, stuff it in, and is it nobody questioned anything to do with Gregor here?
Yeah, he said something about it. I just said it's a bonding experience.
Let's go without Gregor then.
Yes, they'll find us. They know the way we're going, and they're in the air.
Don't know how I feel about him. A man down out here. I mean, I know I can protect myself, but I'm a little worried about you, Iyvak.
You're worried about me?
Yeah, I mean, Gregor's generally, well, I mean, you and Gregor are pretty... Well, I don't know. Come on, let's go.
Is that weak? Sorry, going.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you guys...
Pulls out as a walk.
I'm just gonna mumble to myself, and maybe independent might be a good idea.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so you guys have now packed away all of your camping equipment. You've got all of your food and provisions and water and everything all stocked back up. Ebchar once again has taken on the cart with the kind of like large tank of water on it, and you're all just kind of making your way through this like little valley and starting to head up the actual path itself and over onto the crest. As you hit the crest from this valley, you see that in front of you are a bunch of hills, essentially, as well as a couple of streams leading from the mountain. Towards the distance, near the very base of the mountain, is a very small patch of trees. But it looks like this will be a couple of hours away.
Is this the mountain? Is this where we're heading? Is this Menel Peaks?
Are you asking about the actual place that you're at now, or the place that's in the distance?
Place that I'm looking at in the distance to Amrius, or in it? Well,
oh yeah.
Maybe Ebchar if he's closer.
You are actually closer to Ebchar, yeah. So he's still walking with this, like fucking cart with the water on it. It doesn't even turn to look at you, but yes, that large expansive mountain in the distance, posing ever closer to us. That is our destination, Menel Peaks. Before we get there are still a couple of hills to climb and a small forest to get to. Before we reach the base and Menel itself.
Well, by the looks of it, I reckon it's not going to take us long to get there, maybe by the end of the day.
Yes, that is the intention.
Sorry,
I believe.
I assume we will be setting up camp by the end of the day. So we can go in with a full day. That's our...
Yes, I believe that my father will probably discuss this. It depends on the time itself. If we are there in the early afternoon, we may be able to convince one of the people within Menel itself to put us up for the night. Or if it is already nightfall by that time, we will most likely just camp out in the woods.
There's people there?
Oh yes, a very small settlement called Menel.
Oh,
Do not Menel the town took its name from the actual mountains themselves, rather than the other way around. However, I'm sure my father would happily regale you with the story of Menel and the mythical mines and Menel Peaks itself. You asked him when we get a little closer to it.
Indeed. Perhaps you could set up one of your travelling glyph things there.
Yes, that would have been useful. It really would. However, I suppose my father is getting on in the years, and such a distance from Menel to Salt Harbour, with as many people as we have in our expedition, would be too draining upon him.
Well,
However, you do raise a good point. It might be prudent to set up one of his veins on the outskirts of Menel in case we run into trouble within the mythical mines themselves.
Indeed, quick exit might be a prudent course to take.
Yes, it very well may be. That is a good idea, Iyvak. I will breach the subject with him.
I'm just going to whisper to Ragnarok, did he just compliment me?
I can't really tell. Anyway, what was it? What was it?
I did.
I'll pull Iyvak a little bit further away.
You got keen ears there.
Very keen ears, Iyvak.
Good. Maybe they'll come in handy.
Iyvak.
What?
What was it that Cyric said to us? The people that we'd need to go against. Was that not here?
I never know what that pandemonium thing jabbers on about most of the time.
I said to be a tribe of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that might be here.
Yes, probably.
And we don't have Gregor or Bimit.
Indeed, but I mean, there's not much we can do on that, is there? As far as I can see. For all we know, it's gone for a week.
Well, I thought I'd just give you a bit of warning now, because it just reminded me of it.
Oh, indeed, yes.
Be
You're right.
on guard, Iyvak.
We'll keep our eyes sharp. And our weapons even sharper.
If anything goes to shit, then, just get behind me.
Wow, fucking hell.
Rag. You seem to have gotten onto this story that I might need your protection.
Well, that's what Gregor's been doing all this time, right?
What, protecting me?
Well, I mean, you help each other out in your own ways. I always thought Gregor was the muscle, and you just offered your strange wisdom words to him.
Indeed.
You sort of come as a set, you two, don't you? I thought you'd be more worried about him being missing than...
Oh, yes, because my safety is rather precarious at the moment without his protection.
Yes, exactly. So if you need any assistance, just remember to, if there's any problems, then you can just get behind me.
Thank you, Ragnarok. I'll be sure to know that you will be my shield in any times that I may need.
Always, Iyvak, and I'll smack him on the back. A little bit of force to jolt him forward.
Iyvak, roll a strength save.
$20.
Natural 20.
Yeah, a natural 20. Rag, you try and slap Iyvak on his back. You hit his back, and you lose your footing as you do, because his back is just like so he's pretty much planted himself in the ground. So you slap him on the back, and the shock of him not moving at all just kind of causes your feet to slip, and you fall straight on your ass.
Whoa there!
Rag, you must get up. How can you be my shield on the floor?
No, I just get up and walk off.
Yeah.
That's it. Get in front. Be my guard.
I've got your back, Iyvak.
So you guys continue walking for another 2 or so hours. At this point, it's just gone midday. You're all taking a quick break, 5-10 minute break, just to have a bit of food and water. I want you both to roll a perception check for me, please.
19.
So you get plus a
7.
Iyvak, both you and almost everyone else in the group are just kind of like just resting, having a drink, not really paying attention to anything. At this point in time, You are all on the crest of yet another hill, although at this point it looks like the majority of them are behind you. There is a bit of a stream just kind of like going up and down on the hills themselves. And you're all kind of like just sat next to one of the stream. Redmond's taken his shoes off and he's got his feet in the stream as it's running by. Thu has found a rock in the middle of, like a large rock in the middle of the stream and is meditating there. Ebchar and Amrius are just chatting amongst themselves, excited, well, semi-excitedly as excited as those two get. And Raynor is just like fucking shoveling food into his mouth. He's just kind of taking that scene and not really taking anything else. Rag, you, however, you've got your rations and you're just eating, walking around, just looking up towards the midday sky. Just kind of like turn around, look back at the route that you just came, and in the sky you can see a speck that's heading towards you and getting larger.
Group? I need a group consensus on this. Does anybody see this?
I'm sure we'll be fine with you protecting us, Drag.
Yeah, no one else is kind of paying attention either. They're all just amongst themselves still. You're not really drawing attention.
In the sky?
Well, be my shield, won't you?
What's in the sky? There's birds, obviously. What else?
There's this little speck up here that's getting closer.
You're distracting my food first. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Ebchar!
Just kind of stomps over. What? We are trying to break.
Look.
Don't tell me to
Look in the sky.
Just looks up. There's birds and clouds.
Keep looking. Look at this little speck here. Look at it. It's not a speck anymore, it's bigger.
I see
Look,
nothing Ragnarok.
Now it's bigger again.
It's called perspective, Ragnarok.
On the third time of telling him that, he finally his eyes just narrow. Oh yes, there is something coming towards us. Very well, I will get my father, see what he believes we should do.
Is it a meteor?
I'm going to roll to see if a meteor is. And with a natural 20, no Ragnarok, that is not a meteor. There is no trail of fire coming from it or anything like that.
Can I roll on... Can I roll? Yeah, I want to look closely, see if I've seen anything like it before.
If you're just wanting to get a better look, that will be perception. If you're wanting to see if you've ever seen anything like it before, I would say probably.
I'm thinking, is it a meteor? Is it?
I would actually say probably survival, because survival's like predicting weather and stuff, and I guess a meteor shower classes as weather. So either perception to get a better view, or survival to see if you can recognise this as part of a meteor shower.
I'll do survival for the meteor. 15.
You don't believe that's a meteor. You've seen a couple of meteor showers in your life, and you also know that it's very difficult to see one during the daytime, so for you to be able to spot this doesn't sound like a meteor.
I think we're alright. It's not a meteor.
I've already told you, Ragnarok, that it was not a meteor. But I am very glad that you've cleared that up for me.
Yes, now go and get your father.
Just kind of stomps off. Hear his footsteps receding.
Iyvak, can you see this?
Oh, what? What's all the fuss? We're gonna get up and then walk over to it. What?
Yeah. If you want to see, roll a perception as Rag's pointing up towards the sky.
Well, I see sky, and I see...
I'm guessing you got quite a low roll there.
Yeah.
A natural 1. Oh.
and clouds.
You stare directly into the sun. You're temporarily blinded for 2 minutes.
And down.
Wait a minute. Maybe it's Gregor and Bimit.
What? Who? Gregor and Bimit? Is
Gregor
it?
and Bimit. Yeah, maybe it's them.
I can't see a damn thing, Rag.
Bimit!
Bimit!
Do you want to, whilst I'm also trying to play for time here because someone's left, do you want to see if Ebchar... I don't know. Do you want to see if Ebchar has actually got Amrius yet?
Could you let me know when I could see?
No,
Yeah.
no, I've given up on the thought now. Because I believe it's Gregor and Bimit.
So if you were to turn around to look at Ebchar, you'd see he's not even anywhere near Amrius now. He's got a cigarette from somewhere and he's just smoking it, really irritated. Like, who fucking adventurous. So yeah, as you're shouting them, the speck is getting larger and larger, and it is now almost directly above you, and it just kind of, you can see it just kind of changes its angle and heads straight down.
I see.
After a split second, a pair of giant red wings just play out, and it stops their descent as both Gregor and Bimit just kind of gently land next to you.
I'm back, bitches!
I knew it was you.
Bimit is much bigger now. He is the height of Gregor. Sorry, Gregor. He's the height of Gregor now.
I think it'd have to be Gregor and Bimit, will it?
Iyvak, you can see again.
Oh.
Look at Iyvak.
I get off Bimit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just say, well done, Bimit. Well done.
Why has Bimit big?
I'll explain. Hold out your arm.
Iyvak happens to everyone.
Yes, but not normally so quick. It should take, certainly for a dragon as well, we're talking maybe a century to be.
Just shifty eyes.
Have you been eating gold?
More shifty eyes.
Which one of you two has Bimit's necklace?
That's a good question.
Requires Bimit's necklace to sleep.
That would be me, Bimit.
Just kind of whips his head around, narrows his eyes, just a little bit of smoke exits.
Bimit would wish a necklace back, please.
Just kind of, you can tell that please stuck in his throat slightly.
Well, of course, Bimit.
He just kind of nods appreciatively.
I'll go over and I'll put the necklace over his neck.
Gregor, a
Yes,
word, please.
sure.
As those two are walking away, Bimit just looks back at Rag
Bimit, thanks, stupid kin.
and then just starts getting smaller.
Bimit did what?
Bimit, thanks, stupid kin.
Found, stupid kin.
Thanks. He thanks.
Of course, Bimit.
Stupid kid.
And that he just kind of, now he's, even with the necklace on, he's now the size of a relatively large dog. He just kind of bounds over to where the cart with the water is, jumps on top and just curls up on the giant tank of water to go to sleep.
Can I tell whether the size that Bimit's gone down to is the same size that he originally was when he was, let's say, the size of a spaniel, or is he still? He's bigger. He's bigger.
He's got bigger
also
since he was.
He's also growing with the necklace. It doesn't bring him
Yes.
back down to that same size every time.
Yeah, the necklace only reduces him to a percentage of his actual size.
Okay.
Right, Iyvak.
Oh, yes. Well, I must admit, Gregor, I'm rather fond to see you back. Our deluded Ragnarok. Well, let's just say I'm glad you're back.
I've come bearing gifts, Iyvak. Hold out your hand.
Indeed.
I just placed 20 gold into his hand. 20 gold pieces.
Thank you.
It's what I thought.
Where did you get these, and have you been feeding the dragon these by any chance?
Well, basically, I came across a corpse on the floor. It's skeleton at this point. No one was going after it. I had a little look around and found just some money. I thought I'd split it up with the group.
Oh, that's very generous of you, Greg. Thanks very much.
I don't need it that much. I'll be fine. I just call over Rag. Rag?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to say, Gregor, I assume that you and Mimit have become a little bit of a bond between you two now.
I have a bit of a grin and just think, yeah, I would say so. There's no control in that beast, I can tell you that.
Fantastic. Well, at least one of us is on a good rapport with him, so it's got my blessing. Just be a bit careful with Ragnarok. He might be a little bit sore about it.
I will do. Well, at the end of the day, we are both dragons. Well, dragonborn, shall I say.
I understand that, but Ragnarok seems to, I don't know, might need to reassess what he thinks about maybe all of us in the party on the way he thinks. He seems to think that you are my bodyguard of a sort.
What? I'll just give you a little pat on the shoulder and just say, you can take care of yourself. You don't need me.
So it's just an assumption.
Thank you. Oh, here he is. I'm going to...
Well, I heard everything you said, Iyvak. I'm stood here with my hand out.
Yeah, he's literally been stood next to Gregor, awaiting Gregor's gift this entire time.
Oh, what is it? What is it we all need to look out for Rag?
Anyway, that's my cue. I'm going to get back. I'm going to go and get back to my lunch.
Yeah, I just literally popped 20 gold into his pocket, into his hand as well.
Ah, Gregor, where did you acquire this?
I came across a dead corpse.
Well, you should know, you were stood there, weren't you?
I still didn't know where he acquired it from.
I just asked him.
He did.
Yeah. I must have missed it.
And I gave a bit to Bimit as well. Hence why he's grown a bit.
You know, sometimes our players I think all three of you are just trying to make it difficult for me.
Not at all.
Thank you, Gregor.
You mistake me there, guys. I'm trying to make it difficult for all of you.
Do I feel compelled by anything with this gold I'm just being placed with?
How do you mean compelled?
Compelled is in my curse.
No, because it's been given to you. You don't see any other items that are calling out to you. Now, if Gregor had have shown you the gold, but not given you it, then you would potentially feel compelled. But as it's a gift and he's giving it to you, you're fine.
Oh, thank you, Gregor.
I thought we should split up the bounty, whatever we find.
Agreed.
Just look at Rag, just as a long look, just knowing what he's got. There's that. And then I'll just walk off to the rest of the group.
As you're staring at Rag, just staring at him, it just starts raining. Heavily raining out of nowhere. Like a thunderclap, just
Well, now that we're all back, should we assume our positions and let's get
going.
Heading over into them peaks over there. See if we can get a late afternoon destination.
So, like I said, at this point it's about 11 or 12ish. You travel for another 8 hours until you are now at the edge of that large forest section. It is now starting to get dark. It is pretty much dark before you even enter the forest. As you are heading up the road, it kind of splits. There's a split in the road essentially, with one of the paths of the road heading straight into the forest, and the other curving outwards and leading elsewhere.
You know
I was going to say, as you're approaching it, Amri's just kind of turned, so he's facing all of you, and he's still walking backwards. And he just kind of gestures back towards the forest. This is the direction that we must be going at the moment. This is a short walk through the forest. However, I do believe it may be prudent of us to camp out here for the night. You'll see that people of Menel will probably be less enthusiastic about putting any of us up for the night if we are turning up at this time of the night.
Indeed. May I suggest we scout the area as well before nightfall?
Whatever for, Iyvak.
Just in case. We're near uncertain lands. We're not sure what might be afoul around this area.
The people of Menel are all very kind, very nice. They would not pose any kind of harm to yourself or myself.
Indeed. I just feel better to scout the area.
Oh yes, please, feel free to. We will set up camp and then you can scout away, as it were.
How far forward is the village again, sorry?
It is just through the forest, so a couple of 100 feet, I would assume.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
it is only a small forest.
Indeed. Well, I am going to do that before nightfall and walk ahead.
Okay, so you guys
end also do a bit of scouting as well.
Yeah, Gregor, go with him, Gregor. No, Gregor, go. I'm not.
Ragnarok, I am perfectly fine, but Gregor, you can come with me if you wish.
I'm looking for food.
You know, I don't know where this misconception that Rag has came from, but I'm fucking loving it. Okay, yeah, so you guys I do, it's great. So you guys head into the forest until you're pretty much what you assume is bang in the centre of it. And Amrius's kind of, not insistence, suggestion, you'll start making up camp for the night. It's at this point that if you wish to scout out, you can.
Yes, I would like to go 200 feet or whatever it is so I can see the village and look at the village and see what's going on there. And I'd also like to do a perimeter of 200 yards around the camp.
Okay, is anyone else doing the same or similar?
I'm looking for food at this point. I kind of go the complete opposite way that Iyvak's going.
I'm going to go and look for food as well.
Okay, so let's start off with Iyvak then. Iyvak, so you are... What are you doing to begin with again, sorry?
Well, I'm going to walk 200 feet. I'm just going to walk all that and stay out of eye shot of the villages and that, but I want to look at the village and see if I see the villages.
Okay. You hear the occasional twig snapping and everything. You hear a very occasional bird as well, some insects around. But then you reach the edge of the forest itself, and you can see that there is indeed a very small settlement, like just at the base of the mountain itself. The settlement itself is surrounded by pine trees that have... You're in the forest that you're in at the moment. It is kind of like redwoods, essentially. But around the village, around the settlement, there are a couple of pine trees. Some have been cut down, others haven't. You can see that there is a single well-worn dirt road, and on that dirt road there are again numerous pine trees, some of them being sawed down. You can't really tell too great unless you would like to roll a perception check, but there seems to be a bit of a metal vat, a metal tank, and there are a couple of wooden shacks, as well as one or two slightly larger buildings. The wooden shacks themselves, you can't really make out too well because it's got dark, but none of them seem to be in bad shape, from what you can tell.
Well, I will do a perception check on that tank. But are there any signs of life, like smoke from the chimneys or lights, as it were?
Okay, so
8 on the roll for the tank.
8.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, due to the light or the lack of light, as it were, there's no sunlight or like that, you can just tell from the shape that there is a large tank, but you can't actually see any details of the tank itself. In terms of any signs of life, one or two of the shacks do seem to have some smoke rising up from them, and outside each of the shacks and the other 2 buildings, there seem to be white lights emanating. It takes you a second. It looks like they're almost suspended in midair, but you can see that there is a small cage around each of these white lights. It doesn't look like fire or flame because of how brilliantly white this light is.
What are these? These are outside of the house, these huts?
Yeah, pretty much next to the doorways. They're not casting out that much light, but they're casting enough that you can see like the doors of these shacks.
Right, and I can't actually see anyone physically.
No, it looks like whomever is in this village has probably checked out for the night.
Right. I think. No, I don't have that much. Right, okay. I ain't got anything that I can set up to like no. Vial of liquid fire, half weeding. Yeah. I suppose I'll make my way back then.
Fair enough, yeah. You've now seen this small settlement essentially, and you start heading on your way back. Rag and Gregor, what were you two doing? You were searching for food?
Yeah.
Food, yes.
Seen what
Yeah, so you head out, and as you're heading out, you see that Ebtra and Amris have already got their tents set up. They're just kind of sat out in front of a fire. Fu is once again meditating just on a rock. Dravlan and Redmond appear to have already gone to sleep, and Raynor is just like stabbing at a tree. Just randomly stabbing a tree.
Right, I get Weasel out again.
Yep, your Weasley is still with you. Yep, he's not disappeared yet.
Weasley, let's go hunt some rabbits.
So, like you see as this weasel kind of like, you didn't notice it before, but it being curled up on Gregor's shoulder, just kind of unwraps, like goes down to his hand, just meep, and jumps off. Meep, meep.
What is that?
It's Wheezy.
Oh, the fucking weasel.
Just kind of looks at you, right? Just you see a nose shuffle.
You know that's food, right? Don't you, Gregor?
I just turned to it, just grab my knife.
You see the weasel kind of take a very slow step back away from you.
I'm joking. Try and go for a rabbit.
Well,
You don't think that weasels can really understand common, but it just kind of nods its head at you and then just darts off.
I'm not that mean.
I am.
No, you are, Gregor. Greg sure said.
I'm going to take my crossbow then and get down and into the forest.
Yeah.
And start listening. Start with.
Okay, roll me. Gregor, are you doing something similar as well, or are you just waiting for Wheezy?
I'm just waiting for Weasley, but I'm crouched down.
Okay, so Rag, roll me survival with advantage then, as you're just kind of like allowing the sounds of the forest to fill you. And also, yeah, you definitely have advantage because you grew up in forests doing this, essentially.
2-9. Survival.
Yes.
9.
You grew up in forests doing similar stuff to this, but you've also been out of the forest for quite some time. And as such, you've kind of forgotten stuff. And you're unable to pick up any tracks at all. You're unable to hear anything. Yeah, apart from the occasional bird and everything. But in the back of your head, you just kind of hear, "Boy, look at the ground for broken twigs. Have I not told you this?"
Yes, Father. With that, I will take off the padded armor that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Because it adds extra weight, which also gives me disadvantage on stealth. I'm going to take that off. I'll drop it next to me. Look on the floor for twigs and proceed and try it again.
Do you have dark vision or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay, roll again survival with advantage then.
18.
Okay, so this time, after hearing your long-deceased father's voice in your head, pretty much chastising you, you look down at the ground and you see that there are a couple of broken twigs. And as you're kind of like moving the twigs around to see, like how long it's been since that twig was broken, you see a couple of small rabbit prints.
Let me cast my cantrip of Dancing Lights.
Yeah.
And just leave 2 of the lights above my armor that I've just taken off.
Yeah. So your armor is now illuminated.
All 3 lights. Sorry, I'll leave there. And then
lights are illuminating your armor.
I'll proceed to follow the rabbit tracks.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of like creep along quite stealthily without your armor on. You follow the tracks further and further and further into the forest. Roll a perception check, please.
5.
You continue following the tracks further and further along until they look like they jump into a bush.
Can I get down to the bush and smell?
Yeah.
Smell around.
You can. That would be... As you crouch down, you would need to roll me... Unfortunately, it's not perception because that's spot, hear, or detect. And smelling is not quite the same. What are you trying to smell for exactly?
Any flesh, any sign of life. I'm trying to smell for a rabbit, really, because I've seen rabbit tracks, so I'm trying to smell for rabbits, but anything else is also a bonus.
Roll for a nature check then, please.
20, not a natural.
Okay, so with that 20, the unmistakable smell of a rabbit does fill your nostrils. Well, in addition to that, you do also smell the very familiar metallic coppery tang of blood. Still there. You can still, after that additional snort, you can smell blood still.
Can I turn my gaze to where the smell is? Can I follow it?
It's behind the bush. Seems to. Yes,
Go on.
as you open it and peer, you can see that there is a rabbit's foot that's on the floor and a trail of blood leading away.
I'm going to take my dagger out.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow the trail of blood.
Okay, so you kind of through the bush, and as you're heading still around, following this trail of blood around, you can start hearing. You're heading west. No, wait. Yeah, you're heading east, away from the camp, further into the forest still. And as you are, you can now hear the sound of a stream. The blood seems to be leading towards the stream.
Scream?
Stream.
Oh, a stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to proceed with caution, but I'm still going to follow the blood. I'm just going to get right down in the reeds.
Yeah. Well, as you continue approaching the stream, you see a figure. Seems to be kind of half sprawled out on the actual rocks next to the stream.
Can I make out what this figure is? Is it humanoid?
It's definitely humanoid. If you roll a perception, you might be able to get a little bit more information.
11.
It's a humanoid. It's a male humanoid. Looks to be average height, average weight.
Am I within 120 feet of my dancing light?
That's a very good question. I can't think of my dice for it. Oh, the ring. You are 50 feet away.
Feet away, okay. I'm going to call one of them lights.
Yeah. Sure. What do you call it?
I just hold my hand up.
Yeah, so the second you hold your hand up, it's just like a whoosh, and the light is right above your hand, just hovering.
I want to throw it, and I want to wrap it around this figure, and then have it bounce off and go in a completely different direction.
Okay. So yeah,
So
you
I'm gonna throw it.
You throw it, and as you do, it kind of like illuminates the almost pitch black, like last little bit of forest before this like stream clearing. It heads straight towards the figure that's on the floor, and as it approaches, you can see there's more and more blood. It reaches the figure and kind of like twirls around the figure, and you can see that the figure appears to be a man, a middle-aged man, you would probably guess. He's kind of like laid on the floor. He's like moving slightly, but he seems to be in a bit of pain. He kind of wraps around and then heads back, illuminating the rest of the forest as the stream itself is left in darkness. As it does that, as it's circled around him, you can see his head kind of like move over. You can see the weight on his body shifting. Is there anyone there? What's that light? Is that a person? Oh, thank God. You gotta help me. Thank the gods.
Yeah, I'm going to come out the bushes and walk over to him, stealthily looking around left and right along the stream.
Sorry, are you trying to be stealthy as you're approaching him?
No, not him. I'm just trying to be stealthy. Anything that's in the vicinity.
You don't need to roll a stealth for that, I don't think, at the moment.
Is it an open clearing? If I come out of these bushes here, is it just like an open clearing with a long stream?
Yeah, it's like a long stream. There's like pebbles and rocks and stuff around. There's one rock that's kind of like over the stream itself.
Okay, I've got my dagger in my hand still here. Crossbow, hand on arm on the crossbow.
So as you approach him, he sees you. Oh, thank the makers, lad. Oh, just kind of like looking up at you. I know how this looks. It doesn't look good.
What is the matter?
Well, I was hunting, as you can probably tell. And as he moves up, you can see that all the blood he's kind of shifted his weight. and there's a lot of blood like on his chest and abdomen. That's not mine. That's a rabbit's. I heard something in the woods. Thought it might be wolves or something. So I decided to run. Ah, Christ. Not Christ. Christ does not exist in this realm. Ah, gods. And, well, I kind of got ahead of myself a bit, and he just kind of points towards his ankle. I fucked the old ankle up, you see. Could you help me out, lad? Like, either a potion or just help me up back on my feet, take me back to my village.
Where is your village?
It's Menel. It's literally just past here.
Can I feel some of the blood?
Like on
Get some
his
of the blood
chest.
off his chest, and smell it. And I'm going to taste it
Roll me a nature check.
and tell if it's rabbit. 11.
You taste the rabbit blood. Oh shit! I gave the fucking game away there, didn't I? Fucking hell!
That is rabbit, that is.
I think it's almost time for a fucking break. Christ. Yeah, fine. You taste the blood. You realise it's rabbit. With an 11, somehow you figure out it's rabbit's blood. No, you taste the blood. You can't quite tell from the blood itself whether it's rabbit or human blood because blood tastes like blood. But as you look down and as you kind of reach down to like swipe the blood off, you see that there's no more blood appearing on this man. So you can only assume that it's coming from that rabbit.
Right, so I can't see any open wounds anywhere, or
There doesn't appear to be any open wounds on him. It just seems like this rabbit that he's shot and then crushed as he's fallen has created most of the blood.
I'm gonna feel his ankle. I'm gonna check over his ankle.
Medicine check then, please.
4.
You kind of like you try and be gentle and delicate. You've seen people do, like checks on ankles and stuff before, and you know that they place both their hands on the ankle or on the area that's affected. And because no one's ever actually taught you it, you don't actually know how to do it. So rather than being very gentle and just like casually tracing it to see if there's any breakages or rope, you just kind of clamp your hand onto his ankle. The second you do, you just say, "Ah, look!
All right.
Lord, what the hell?"
All right.
Do I hear this?
Roll a perception if you want to try.
15.
You hear some shouting, yes.
Right. Do I see Rag at all or not?
Rag has gone off into the woods. You can hear like shouting and stuff, but you're not quite. You know the general direction that it's coming from. You don't know that Rag's. You don't immediately know that Rag's involved. You probably have a suspicion, but.
Well, Rag went in that direction, so I'm gonna think that it was him. So I'm gonna kind of just rush over into that direction.
Yeah, so you rush over, and as you get to the scene, like I said before, there is a lot of blood everywhere. There is a nice, stream, and you see Rag kind of like tapping this man's leg as it's like, "Lad, I told you, don't touch my ankle. That's where I heard it."
Maybe.
Touching
Gregor?
it ain't gonna make it better.
Yes.
Maybe I should.
Another one of you.
I can't remember. I need to do a good deed.
What's happened?
I'm going to scoop
Did you
him.
attack this man?
No. He's fallen
he
over. He's fallen and hurt his ankle. The blood's not his. It's rabbit that has been hunting. I'm going to scoop him up, pick him up.
Rag, put him down. Put it down. Let me have a look at him.
Lift him up, put him down. Make up your mind.
Can I have a
At this
look?
point, I wish Wolf had just taken me out.
Can I have a look at this ankle then?
Yes, roll a medicine check, please.
16.
So, yeah, just like Rag, you kind of like put your hands on the side, towards the side, and as you do, you see this man wince in anticipation for more pain. But you do manage to do it a bit more gentle. You can still hear him like as you're touching it. But you do recognise that he's sprained his ankle.
Is there a way that I can unsprain it?
I don't know. Can you heal people?
Oh, yeah, actually, I'm going to cast. I don't know what. I'm going to cast a spell. Yes, here we go. To be honest, that is an object. I was going to say, can I cast mending?
We've done this before when you were doing the smuggling mission. You couldn't cast mending on Rag or Iyvak, whoever it was who broke their ankle. You did heal them, but not with mending.
Cure wounds, then it'll have to be.
Okay. So yeah, you. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just cast cure wounds onto his ankle.
What hit points does that restore?
It does 1d8.
1d8. That's not a d8. That's a d8. So yeah, you kind of put your hands again on his ankle, not actually on them, just slightly off them. And as you do, you kind of focus on this brilliant radiant light. And you see as the brilliant radiant light is actually like illuminating his ankle, and you can see it's this dark, sickly purple colour. And as it kind of like glows around it, you see it start to turn back to a normal fleshy kind of colour. The bum where he's sprained it like strained itself out, and as it does, as the colour fades, he just kind of looks down. That's, you know what? That's miles better. Thank you, lad. I got these. I'm not sure how great they are. Some other guy gave them, but I want to give you something to say thank you. I mean, I can't really give you the rabbit. He's kind of pushed himself up, so like he's like half up, half down, and he kind of gestures. It's kind of everywhere now. And he pulls out a pouch. I got these. There's some beans. Beans. Apparently, I've not tried them myself, but apparently, if you use them, something might happen. You know?
What if you eat them or if you plant them?
Oh no, lad! Do not eat them. You put them on the floor.
Interesting.
Gregor.
Yes.
This man is from Menel.
This man's what?
He's from Menel.
Menel.
The village that's right next to us.
Yeah,
we're going into there tomorrow.
Oh, that's awfully cool. That's awfully nice. You know what? Tell you what. Pop by my house tomorrow, and I'll have the wife pop you up a stew.
That sounds
good.
good.
Saying thank you.
Yeah. You can keep your beans. It's fine for me.
Are you sure? These are some mighty good
I'll
beans.
have them.
Kind of looks at you, right? I suppose he did try and help. Just chucks them to you.
Catch them.
Okay, roll.
Hey, back.
Are you checking how many beans are in there?
No.
Alrighty. We're gonna have to do that later then. So yeah, you put it into your backpack.
Will you be alright getting home, or do you need an escort? Or
He's just kind of pushed himself back up now, and you can see he's gingerly putting his foot down. But after a couple of taps, nah, I'll be right now. All I needed was obviously if he hadn't have helped my ankle there, I'd need it, but it's only a couple of 100 feet away. Wife will be wondering where I've been.
Wait a second. What is it that you're doing out here? Such a late hour.
Well, I wasn't here. I didn't start here at such a late hour. I came out about 2 or 3 hours ago. Get a rabbit for tea. And then I've been on that floor for a couple of hours. It was light when I fell, and now it's dark. So, Just kind of raises his eyebrows, just like, what are you gonna do?
Well, hurry up home. I'm sure your wife will be missing you.
What is your name?
My name is a name that I definitely have, and I've always had, and it is Bradley. Bradley Norton.
Bradley Norton. Alright, Bradley.
Do you know where you live?
Well, yeah. Yeah,
It's just so we can
Menel.
come by at one point, so I can probably claim some of that stew that your wife will be making.
He definitely didn't say that as a just, like off the cuff type of thing. He's definitely gonna prepare that stew. Oh yeah, well, it is, there's a tavern. My house is just on the left.
Brilliant. Yes, I think I'll pop round probably tomorrow.
Right, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Stay safe, and I'll just walk back.
Kind
Weasley!
of nod.
Weasley!
I'm gonna look round for some more rabbits.
Okay. We'll
On my
do
way
one more.
on my way back to the lights.
Yeah, we'll do one more roll before we take our break then. Rag, roll your survival roll to see if you find any rabbits.
18.
As you're heading back, you see a rabbit just bound out of the bushes in front of you.
Dagger. Throw it.
Roll me a dex check then, please.
Eight.
The rabbit bounds out in front, you throw it, and it just kind of like grazes past its ear. Just boom, into the tree next to it.
Crossbow, second shot.
Dex. You just whip out your crossbow. Not even two-handed, it's just one-handed. Just whip out the crossbow and you shoot it as you whip the crossbow out.
9.
The crossbow bolt lands next to the knife, embedded into the tree. Last roll before I call it for break.
Tentacle rod. 3 rubbery
Alright.
tentacles, all aimed at this rabbit.
Ah, fucking hell, that is a deep cut, is that one? Fucking hell, yeah, roll to hit. Pay each of them, I think, as well, so let's roll your first one.
I'm just reading it. Each tentacle makes a melee attack roll with a +9 bonus.
I fucking hope you hit this rabbit with a +9.
26 for the first one.
You throw the dagger with your other hand. As you realise it's missed, you pull out your crossbow, you shoot it, but because of the whipping motion, it causes the bolt to go a bit too high and land next to the knife. As you realise that, you pull out the rod, the tentacle rod, and just slam it down. As it slams down, one of the tentacles unfurls, and kind of like, as it's unfurling, you pull it back, and it unfurls. As you slam it down, one of the tentacles just hits the back of the rabbit's neck and just smashes it into the ground. The rabbit is not moving.
Okay. I won't bother with you the two. I'll just pull that back towards me.
Yeah.
Until I have the rabbit in my hands.
Until what, sorry?
Until I have the rabbit in my hands.
Yeah, so you're kind of cautiously walking towards the rabbit. His back leg is still twitching slightly, but otherwise it's not moving.
Yeah. Pick it up by its back legs.
Yeah.
And just give it a thump on its head.
Roll a strength check.
21.
You punch its head and its head explodes. But the rest of the body is still completely intact.
That's one job done, I suppose.
Right, so... Yeah, Rag, you have now gathered up all of your items, so your crossbow bolt, your knife, or dagger, sorry, and your armour, and you've made your way back to the campsite along with Gregor, and Iyvak is also there.
Did we find any rabbits?
No, there was only... Oh, wait, no, Rag got a rabbit, yes, and he exploded its head. Unfortunately... Oh, that's a good question. Weasley, after you get back to the camp, just trots back up, and yes, he does have a dead rabbit in his mouth.
Yeah! I just grab it, start skinning it, and roast it on the fire.
Okay, I'm going to say that gave you... One ration.
I just eat that then.
Yeah, you're just eating it straight away. Rag, are you doing similar to see if you
I'm going to...
I just pull a piece off and just give it to Weasley.
So Weasley just kind of chomps at this little piece that you've given it. Rag, you do the same. You skin it, you roast it, and you get one ration from it.
Ew.
So, as night has fully fallen and you all fall asleep, I would like each of you to roll a d20 for me, please.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Natural 11.
$19.
Okay, so Iyvak and Rag, you both wake up completely refreshed. You feel the best that you have felt. Well, Iyvak, you wake up feeling completely refreshed. You feel happy and everything. Rag, you wake up feeling the most refreshed you've ever felt in your life. Both of you gain a point of inspiration.
Hey.
Gregor, you sleep less soundly. You do manage to go to sleep. You do get a decent night's of sleep, but you don't get any inspiration.
Ah.
So it is now morning, and you are now on the outskirts of. You are still in the. You are still in the wooded area, but you are just on the outskirts of the village of Menel. As you're all waking up and you're all getting up and packing away your tents and whatnot, Amrace is now in the centre, just addressing you all. You're just kind of walking up and down. We are to be heading into the small settlement of Menel very, very shortly. I would suggest, if you have any food that you wish to imbibe upon, any drinks or anything like that, we do that now, so we are able to pass through Menel. Unfortunately, due to our time, we are bang on schedule, as it were. We are unable really to stop in the tavern or the store in Menel. However, upon a successful expedition into the temple, we will of course be able to restock our supplies once we have left the Mithril mines.
That's absolutely fine. I'll be happy with that.
Yes,
I'll consume one of my rations there then.
Yep, so you have consumed a ration. Rag. You just kind of... You just take out the rabbit that you had roasted last night and just devour it.
I eat my last ration.
Is that all of your rations gone now?
Look. Yes, that's all my rations gone.
Well, let's hope that you don't take that long in the mines.
It'll be fine.
Oh no. We've still not decided whether or not a creature from the Bag of Tricks counts as sustenance or not. Iyvak, are you eating a ration as well?
Yeah, I've had one of mine.
Yeah, so all three of you are just kind of sat around the dying campfire just eating. As you do, Raynor walks over to the three of you, just kind of crouches in between you all. So, I feel like there might be something that might scare these country hicks at the base of this mountain. Can any of you three take a guess as to what might scare
A bunch of country hicks.
You?
I scare everyone here, but not me, no. No, I can play nicety nice if I need to.
What is it that you said? We're gonna find...
No, there's something. There's a member of our expedition group that might be a little frightful to a bunch of people that live at the base of a mountain. Do you know what that might be?
Me? Rag?
Are you saying random words now?
Well, I'm Dragonborn and he's Orc.
You know, actually, you do make a good point. Maybe we dress you both up so you don't look so frightening. No, that's not actually what I was on about, but that is a good point.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. But no, I don't know what.
Your dragon, I'm talking about your dragon, Christ. I don't know who this Christ is. Keeps on coming back to me for some reason. Might be a minor deity or a magician. He's a very famous magician in Waterdeep.
Are you talking about the goblin?
Goblin Javier Christ. Yeah, he was a hell of a person. But no, I'm talking about your dragon. Your dragon will scare people. He's a dragon.
Well, he's got his necklace on.
He's got his necklace on.
He's still a dragon. A dragon that's the size of a dog is still a dragon.
Well, we can get into... I don't know, Gregor, fly above or something.
I think he can follow us into the mines.
Oh, no, yeah, into the mines, yeah. I mean, I think he's more talking about going through the village first.
We don't really want to set a riot off and have people attacking us, do we? I mean, we could kill them all, and I personally would love to kill some country hicks. But that dickhead Foo over there will be all like, "Oh, hey, Raina, it's like the brothel all over again."
The worst impression of Foo I've ever heard.
I'm not trying to do an impression of Foo. I'm letting you know how much of a wanker he is.
Well, he's disguised as a dog, and from everyone that sees it, it'll just look like a little, well, a dog that follows us.
A dog with wings that can't even say bark.
Bimit. Just call Bimit over.
Bimit kind of I'll just grab something. Bimit uncurls from the top of that water tank that he was still on. Just kind of leaps. Just
yes.
Quick question. Can you bark?
just
bark. Bark. Bark, bark.
There. Problem solved.
just kind of looks across the three of you.
Why make Bimit bark?
Well, basically our friend here, Raynor, thinks that you might scare the locals, but... I know that. I know you can. You can scare anyone inside.
Yes.
But will you just keep low and just try and be as friendly as possible? We don't want to cause a panic.
Bimit should not be seen as Bimit.
Yes, but for some reason Raynor thinks that you might, I don't know, maybe turn into your actual form in the middle of the village.
He just kind of pauses for a second.
Does Dragonkin still have items Bimit got insult playing?
Totally fine. I don't know what you're worrying about.
No, say that again. Sorry, you cut out for most of that.
Sorry. See, Raynor is absolutely fine.
No, Bimit asking Dragonkin.
Just kind of headbutts towards you, Gregor.
Does Dragonkin items Bimit got, Bimit found, insult playing?
Ah. Are you willing to show that to the rest of the group?
That just sounds so wrong.
It thinks time is right. Plus be funny.
Alright, Bimit, show him what you can do.
So, what do you take out of your, satchel? Do you want to describe that to people?
My satchel?
Yeah, where you're holding your items and stuff like that.
Alright, I pull out,
See if you were paying attention during that.
satchel. I pull out the red gem.
Not that. The things that Bimit picks up during his little one-to-one with you.
I didn't think I picked anything up. I just literally remember him seeing a skeleton.
Dragonkin gives Bimit the satchel.
Bimit's satchel.
Yeah, he's basically asking for your bag that's got the stuff in it.
Oh,
You-
okay. I just give him to it, yeah.
Yeah, so Bimit just kind of tentatively just bites onto this satchel, and Rag and Iyvak, you see Bimit just kind of trot away into the forest. You lose sight of him.
Where's he going?
You'll see. You'll see.
So after about 10 or 15 minutes pass, Amrius and Ebchar are still, telling you all to basically start packing up and everything like that. I'm assuming you guys are packing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so after you've finished completely packing up and everything, I want just you two to roll me a perception check, please.
You two.
Rag and Iyvak.
Let's roll this. Alright.
4.
4, okay.
$16.
Okay, that I can work with. So, Iyvak, you're still just kind of pretty much focused on packing your stuff away. You spent a bit of time meditating before you started packing away, trying to find your zen again. So you're running slightly behind. However, Rag... Sorry, frog in my throat there. Rag, you've already packed all your stuff away, and you're still wondering where the hell Bimit may have gone. So you're looking out into the forest itself, and you actually take a couple of steps out in towards the forest, and as you do, you see someone start to approach you. Looks to be a human, or a humanoid type of figure.
Who goes there?
As you say that, they walk further into view, and just you can see on their face there's a big smile on their face. This person is standing around about 6 foot tall, so just a bit shorter than you, give or take. And they are really quite muscular. The person has some spiky bright red hair, seems to be about medium length, down to about their shoulders, but it kind of falls up and over their face just around their eye. Their eyes themselves are icy blue, and they've got quite an angular face with a broad chin. And they are wearing a simple cotton spun shirt, which is fastened with black cords, and they've got some black trousers on, but no shoes. And slung over their shoulder is what you recognise as Gregor's satchel.
I recognise that as Gregor's satchel.
Yes, you do. You've been around Gregor enough to recognise it instantly.
Hey, what are you doing with Gregor's satchel? Who are you?
Another smile as they take another step towards you. I am a little offended, Ragnarok, that you don't recognise me. I am a little different now, but...
Walk towards him and just... Thank you. Just grab my satchel.
Yeah, he just hands the satchel straight to Gregor. I'm guessing they've not figured it out yet.
No, I don't think
do I not recognize this person?
Roll me a wisdom check, please.
1.
A natural one, or
it's a normal 1.
You have never met this person. You've never seen this person in your life.
Yeah, I don't follow. But Gregor, why did he have your satchel?
Of course not.
I just let out a big laugh. I just put my hand onto his shoulder and go, "This is Bimit."
Just big grin on his face.
Gregor, don't play with me. I'm tired, and I really would like to leave and get this expedition done.
As tired as you were when you tried to break me, Rag?
Come again?
Yes. You know, all those evenings where you were trying to make me sit or fly or jump for steak.
Mate?
Yes.
How'd you go? Walk over, get really close to the
You're
face.
literally like inches away.
Just circle around the figure.
Gregor, like he did when you... Like when you did the exact same, he just kind of stretches his arms out to let Rag get a 360 look.
Bimit?
Is it,
no.
Yes.
No.
Is it that hard to believe? Are you telling me, Ragnarok, that's all your time on this earth? You don't even know that dragons can do this?
Bim.
Yeah.
Put my arms around him.
You can't see this, Rag, but Gregor, seeing as he's facing you, Bimit looks like kind of uncomfortable over this. Just like, okay.
I just let out a big laugh and just take it, Bimit. Just take it.
Okay. Rag, he lets you hug him.
Big kiss on the forehead. Bimit!
Just... Yes,
What?
it is Bimit. It is I.
You're a person now.
I mean, I'm still a dragon.
How did you do this?
Well, and he kind of looks at you, looks at Gregor, and then looks back over at Iyvak. Iyvak, at this point in time, you kind of come out of your meditation, and yeah, you just see this tall, muscly, bright-redded head person just staring at you. Well,
and who's this?
hello, Iyvak.
Stranger?
This is Bimit.
Have you been back on them mushrooms again, Rag?
I've never been
true,
on
Iyvak.
mushrooms.
This is Bimit.
This is Bimit. Look at Bimit. I'm so sorry for what I did to you.
Mm. All I wanted, Rag, was to be seen as an equal member of this group. When we first met, you told me, and Iyvak told me, that we would be in this together, not as a pet, not as a weapon.
We are in this together.
You made me feel like I was a pet or a weapon.
I know I did.
Yeah, I must have nodded off in my meditation because I must be asleep right now.
Iyvak, you are not asleep. I do understand how this might be confusing to one who is not of dragon. But my kind, when we reach a certain age, a certain level of power, we're able to do these things. I'd already reached it earlier when you both so kindly started feeding me gold. However, it took time for my mind, just kind of pushes towards his temples, for my mind to actually catch up with my body. It wasn't until I was high above the sky with Gregor that finally happened and it all clicked. My kind have the ability to take on the form of a human. Only once per day, but it can last as long as I want it to.
Madness.
What, all day?
Theoretically, yes.
Look at that face.
So theoretically, you could stay human indefinitely.
I would turn back into a dragon whenever I slept. And of course, I don't quite have the same... Well, I have a lot of the strength I did. Just kind of like... Oh, you can't see that on the camera? Just kind of like clenching his hand. I have a lot of the strength I did. And... Well, I don't know if I could breathe fire still, but I certainly can't take flight like this. So there are limitations.
Yes, but certainly handy nonetheless. How long? Well, what happens now then? What are you still part of our crew?
I am part of the crew if I am an equal part of the crew, yes. If I am not a pet, if I am not a weapon, then I will be happy to journey with you as I find out more about my kind and about my history.
Yeah, indeed. It seems like we all need to find out about your kind and your history.
I would agree there.
Bimit,
Yes?
please take this. I'm going to get my
I was going
I was
to say,
gonna say, what is this?
handy this crystal I've got out of my backpack. Please take this as a token of my apology. And I hope that we move forward as an equal party once more.
Is it just a normal? Is it just a normal crystal? Is it a normal crystal? Is it like a magical one, or?
It's well, how I've got it here. Arcane Focus is a special item designed to channel the power of arcane spells.
Okay.
Can be used as a spellcasting focus, as described in the spellcasting.
Okay, so it's a spellcasting focus.
Common
Thank
crystal
you.
on the arcane focus. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't like he takes the crystal and boom, he's now dead. So yeah,
No.
you reach out and you like hold out the crystal to him and he just smiles. He picks it up, just like weighs it in his hand. Thank you, Rag, but I can't accept this. I don't have a bag, and dragons don't have pockets. But I appreciate the gesture all the same. Maybe one day, if I have a hoard or a place of my own to call my own, I will take this gift back. But for now, I entrust it to you for safekeeping.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe we can put a necklace around it or something, some rope, and you can wear it around your neck when you fly. Something to remember me.
Well, unless you're about to pass away anytime soon, I don't really see the need to remember you.
Perfectly possible.
He hears that. Yes, this group is quite wily like that.
I have a reputation. Glare at Iyvak.
Oh, I know about that reputation, Rag. I've been there for a lot of it.
Would you still be doing things for steak then, or has that a time gone now?
Oh, I'm Iyvak, regardless of the form I take. I'll never say no to a good steak. I realise that I rhymed that there, and that was not intentional. I'm not the bard here.
Well, we are all out of steaks.
So then I look at... Is Reynard knows this?
That's a damn good question, because you're close to the campsite itself, but you have all, stepped away from it. Reyna has not seen this yet, no. He's pretty much packed everything away, he's got his rucksack back on, and he's with the rest of the group about to set off.
Reynard,
What?
do you remember when you
What's
said
his
that
name?
we might have a problem with the dragon?
I do, have you sold it?
I just like...
And who is this hunk of fucking awesomeness?
I'm so glad you asked. Would you like
Why?
to...
Why?
I just point to... Just look at Bimit and just, like, for him to introduce himself.
So he just takes a step forward and just, like, big grin on his face still. Raynor. I don't think I'll be causing any harm or terror to people today. Raynor takes a step back.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me, right?
Turns to Gregor.
He's fucking with me, right? Is Ragnarok throwing his voice to a mannequin? Right?
I just have a big grin on my face.
Shit. Shit, I said it was awesome.
Your words.
Well, at the very least, he's not gonna eat me now.
He'd probably beat the shit out of you as I walk away.
Okay, I heard that.
Yeah, Raynor's just like, okay, I heard that.
Come on, let's go then. To be honest, actually, before we go, I just turned to Bimit. It's like, do you need any weapons or anything like that when you're in this form?
You know, that's... I've forgotten how I sound for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm probably going to sound the exact same in a second, but... You know, that's a good question.
I just pull out my back, my mace, and my quarterstaff, and just show it. Which one?
Oh, I was not expecting Bimit to have to choose what weapon to have. He's spoiled for choice, this boy. So what's the stats on the masonry? What's the, like, is it strength for mace and strength for staff, or is it like dex for staff?
How do I see that? I've got proficiency, yes. Attack type, melee, reach, 5 foot, damage, 1d6.
Actually, I think quarterstaff will also be strength check.
It's all bludgeoning. Yeah, it's all bludgeoning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll just double check. I should know this off the top of my head, admittedly. Okay, so Bimit kind of like just smiles again and just grabs the mace off you.
Now you're armed.
I have to say, it's just kind of raises the mace and just swings it around a little bit to get a feel for it. Having a weapon isn't quite what I expected it to be. It's weird when it's not your own flesh and blood which is the weapon.
Well, you can use it for protection if you need it. That's if you need it.
I appreciate that. And he just kind of stirs out on his back.
Right? Shall we be off?
Yes.
As you're saying this and you're rejoining the group, you just hear Raynor again.
Right, have we all stopped gawking at the human dragon? Can we leave?
Let's go.
Good.
And as you approach the group again, yeah, each member of the group just expresses various sentiments of wonderment and amazement at the fact that Bimit is now a human. There are lots of different interactions. Like I said, there's lots of little different interactions that I'm not going to fully detail because I'm not doing 9 different voices interacting with the same one. But, you know, everyone's amazed by it. Everyone's, like, a bit incredulous over it. Amrius is just... Whilst the rest of them are still kind of like, oh my god, what the hell? Amrius is just kind of stood with a small smirk on his face.
Why notice this?
You can roll a perception check if you want.
Allow. gander. Oh, 10.
You don't notice the smoke on his face. You're too kind of caught up in, Bimit just being pretty much accepted by everyone.
Okay, yeah, I'll leave it at that then. It's like, just look at Amaris at that point. It's like, shall we get moving?
Yes, I do believe that it would be a wise idea, despite how there's been excitement and merriment this morning. We do, after all, have a task that we need to carry out. So yes, I do believe that we should head on our way into Menel itself.
Okay, I'll grab my things.
Yeah, with that, you all set off again, and within 5 or so minutes, you start exiting the woods, and you see that you are still following the road. And as you follow the road to the exit of the forest, you see that you're almost at your destination, the mountains of Menel Peaks, pretty much looming directly over you. The road continues, and to Rag and Gregor's surprise, not Iyvak's though, there is a small settlement at the base of the mountain. And as you approach the settlement itself, in the early mid-hours of the morning, the sound of life fills your ears as you hear the denizens of the settlement just working and just living their life generally. There's a couple of people just logging large amounts of wood. There's some others that are just walking in between houses. Some look like they are walking sheep and stuff out, and they're kind of like passing you as you go by, looking like they might be heading towards other fields. At the moment you're walking down a dirt road which is pretty much well worn, and as you are making your way down, as you were all just kind of walking side by side, you see that as opposed to the trees that were behind you, like the redwoods and whatnot, these are all pine trees. Some of them are still fully intact, others have been sawn down, and as you are starting to approach the village itself, with multiple shacks, wooden shacks around everywhere, the smell of pine and burning wood and food kind of like just fills your nostrils.
Interesting smell.
Yes, yes.
Is this like a mill village or something?
Oh, yes, very similar, as you can see.
Amaris kind of gestures to the sides.
These are some very special kind of trees that only grow around the mountainous regions, and the people of Menel make their trade by utilizing these trees in various manners.
He's continuing to walk and is now pretty much almost approaching the settlement itself. And as he does, he kind of like points towards the shacks. And as he does, you can see that each of these shacks seem to be made out of the same type of wood that the trees are made out of. They're quite small, but they are constructed very well, and each of them are in very, very good shape. Like some of the other villages that you've been to, the wood seems slightly frayed or cracked, whereas the pine wood on these are all in impeccable shape. They've been treated and dyed, so the colour is slightly darker than usual, and all of the roofs are thatched. And in front of them, on the doorways, you can see that there are some metal cages just hung in front of the doorways.
Looks like they've got their lives easy here. Well, I'd say easy, but looks like they're hard working, but they live a good life.
Maybe that's where. That's where Bradley was.
Again.
Maybe that's where Bradley was. Down in this little settlement down there.
Oh yes, I have to go and visit him at one point. If we got time.
I think on the way back when maybe we can grab a couple of rations from him at least.
Good point. Good point. I was the one that healed his leg. I mean, he sprained ankle.
I'm the one that did all the shit, Rag. You did nothing.
You just made it well.
I'm going to go and ask him a big conversation about his life and his backstory soon. So,
in around about 4 or 5 sessions, when someone has had time to flesh him out.
Before the end of this session, possibly.
That's not going to happen. So, as you're starting to walk through, yeah, Amris is still pointing to these shacks. Yes. The people of Menel, like I say, make their trade here, and in fact, their houses are a testament to the finery of the wood that is here. They do trade wood with people who pass in, pass out. They do actually supply sextants with a small amount of wood per month. But it is not only the wood, of course, where Menel makes its trade. If you wish, I could. As we are making our way through this small village towards mines, I can give you an ever so brief history lesson towards Menel and what has happened around Menel in itself.
As he said that, can I have a look around for Bradley?
Roll me a perception check.
See if I see him.
Roll me a perception check.
9.
Bradley is not around at the moment.
Can I just look at a random person and just go, Bradley! Bradley, is that you? As I start walking away.
Can I have a look around to see if I can see him?
Roll perception as Gregor is like, Bradley, and this random guy just, oh, bloody hell's Bradley! And Marcus. What the hell, man?
3.
Yeah, you don't see Bradley either. You and Gregor are just kind of like staring off as Amris is like, what would you like to know about the past of this settlement and how it came to be? Oh, they're already walking away. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, so Iyvak, yeah, Amris is still walking through the actual village itself, and he's just asked you if you want to hear about the history of this place. But he sees you nodding, and he's just like,
Oh, sorry, you asking me again? Alright.
I wasn't, but yes, I can do yours. Well, you see, the village of Menel actually appeared after the Mithril mines were opened up. The Mithril mines themselves, you'll see, were opened up many, many years ago now, approximately 500 or 600 years, I believe. It's quite the thing, he says as he's still walking through, and you are now starting to slowly approach that giant metal basin that you saw before. But yeah, as he's walking through, it's quite the thing, you'll see. Back in the 500s, the current king of the time, King Iyvak VI, requested that the Voivode of Luna at the time carried out a survey underneath Mineral peaks to see if there was any valuable resources, as it were. And one of the surveyors actually found a large chunk of mithril. So of course, the king gave permission to the Voivode to create a mine, the mithril mines that is, and just shy of a year later, the mithril mines officially opened. And many of the nearby elves, of the wood elves in the nearby forest, volunteered. However, unfortunately for them, not many of them were able to find any mithril at all.
Just about to say, why trade in trees if you have mithril?
Well, that is quite right. Yes, it wasn't to be found out until later that a theory appeared that the mithril that they found was actually due to a local thief who had stolen some from some stores and had buried it there for safekeeping. But of course, the Voivode couldn't simply shut down the mines. It would look ridiculous for them to be all like, oh, we spent hundreds, thousands of pieces of gold and platinum opening this place. So instead, they told the elves to continue digging. And after some time, the elves actually managed to find crystals. And these crystals, I believe you are acquainted with them. Myself, yourself, and the rest of the Solomnari are acquainted with these crystals. They are the new mine crystals.
New mine? From here?
Yes. Well, there has been various theories about it. One of the theories is that these crystals are just normal crystals, but something about the elves that work within the mines give them power, you see. However, jumping forward a little bit, just as a slight spoiler, the crystals are now inert. The crystal elves do something to make the new mine crystals inert. You see, the new mine crystals are tied towards the Fae, and as you well know, the worship of Fae and Fae items have been outlawed within Ixen for many a century now.
Indeed. Let's reel back a little bit here, though.
Yes, of course.
If we're going into those mines,
Yes.
and there are new mines in there,
Yes.
I understand the ones that the elves have found inert, but what about the ones that haven't been found yet?
You see, that is the great mystery of it. We are unsure if the crystals that are found, when they are found, are they inert? Or are they powered? Is it the crystal elves themselves that somehow give the crystals their powers? Or are they naturally powered?
I just asked because not me alone, but many of us in this party rely on certain tactics that involve magics and whatnot.
Oh, of course.
It'd be rather disadvantageous if we just suddenly lost all our powers if we got in some strife down there.
Yes, of course. Well, I'm afraid I do not quite know myself. I've never actually been into the mithril mines myself. But if it is the theory that the crystal elves give them their powers, then you should be quite alright. And remember, of course, Iyvak, that not all new mine crystals are the same. It is only the pink new mine crystal that renders one magicless.
Oh, okay.
Nonetheless, though, we carry on with our timeline here. Around about 2 years after they started finding the new mine crystals within the mithril mines, the crystal elves started burrowing further and further in. And after hearing rumours of the Voivode dispatching elite guards to rectify the issue, we shall say, of Fae items, the crystal elves actually sealed off the entrance to the mithril mines.
For reasons?
They did not wish for the Voivode's guards to enter the mithril mines and slaughter them all for excavating Fae relics, as it were. You see, possession, harboring of Fae items back in those days was, it is already forbidden, but back then it was forbidden by the threat of death. So to preserve themselves and their own cultures, they decided to seal themselves in. And of course, with the long lifespan of elves, it was seen as a good strategy by them.
So they've sealed themselves in now?
No, they did for quite some time. Around about 100 years or so later, the first settlers realised that, or thought, that the crystal elves would not leave the sealed mines, so they began to build shacks around, and these are the very shacks that you see around before you now. And eventually, a small settlement, this very settlement, was formed. A century passed, and finally the crystal elves unsealed the mines. And contact was established within Menel. It was not an easy time for anyone, but in the 200 years that have passed since then, many of the elves, or at least some of the elves, are spotted out of the mines and within Menel itself, and there are rumors that various members of Menel are actually permitted inside the Mithril mines to trade various items and minerals for inert crystals.
Are we able to go in?
Anyone is able to enter into the Mithril mines, whether or not one is permitted further access beyond the top level. That is the level where trade would happen for the depowered new mine crystals. Well, we will have to make our case to the leader of the Crystal Elves concerned.
Politicking.
It is less politicking, Iyvak, than it is just letting them know that we know there is a large building within their minds that should not be there, and we aim to remove it for them.
That may be so. I might lead that into your eloquent talk tactics. What's that?
Very well.
I'm going to point to the tank.
I don't know why, but I got such a sense of Matt Berry there. That's all very well. What's that? I say. As you point to this large metal basin, you can see that there's various pipes leading up on the mountain itself, and then more trays around the higher ends of the mountain. So Amris follows your gaze. Oh, that is the water tank for the people of Menel. You see, they are quite ingenious. They realise that after heavy waterfall or the changing of seasons, where the snow melts from the peaks of Menel, water cascades down. So they use these trays to catch the water, and it funnels them into these pipes. And I do believe they have various meshes and whatnot to filter out the sediment and other bacterium that may reside in the water. And they store it in this impeccably large tank.
Finest water in the world, mountain water.
It is. And they store it here for the entire town to use.
I was going to say, at this point, can I just go, you're not Bradley. All right, sorry. Thank you.
No, I'm not Bradley, what the hell?
I just walk off, see you later, and just go back to the group.
Okay, so you guys are still following around the area. At this point in time, Amrius is, as he sees fit, giving you enough information about the actual village itself, and obviously about the metal tank for Iyvak. So he's still walking, and you actually pass around the tank itself, and following the roads. And as you do, he kind of gestures again to one of the shacks. Iyvak, you do recall a couple of seconds ago, a minute or so ago, I told you that the elves occasionally trade their crystals for other minerals and whatnot, yes?
Yes.
Well, tell me, dear boy, do you see anything on the doors, or next to the doors of these shacks?
Yes, and yesterday I saw them shining. There were cages.
So
dots of light inside.
Yes, well, one of the things that the cages contain are crystals. Crystals that have not been yet turned into new mine crystals. You see, this is why we believe that the crystal elves have some kind of power to transform the crystals into new mine crystals. And these white crystals, when it becomes dark, glow brightly.
So they're just lamps, basically.
Yes, fireless lamps. When one is surrounded by trees, and when one's life is the trees and the woods, it would make sense not to endanger that.
Oh, absolutely. It's a handy trick. I would never belittle it. I do get confused though. You say they can turn them into new mine crystals, but a new mine crystal doesn't necessarily mean lack of power. It can do many different things.
Yes, well, this is one of the theories behind the new mine crystals, that if a creature with a strong enough connection or familial trait to the Fae creatures, the Fae realm, touches a potential new mine crystal, they may have the power to imbue it with this Fey energy. And seeing as Fey energy is relatively chaotic, it could result in numerous different forms, such as the black new mine crystals, the pink new mine crystals, the blue new mine crystals. I believe it might actually just be luck that generates them.
Interesting. I don't suppose you'd have anything to hand that I could read about such thing in my pastime?
Not on myself, no. But if you remind me once we make our way back to South Harbour, I believe that there may be a book in my library that has such information behind it.
I think I will do that. I thirst for a bit of knowledge.
Knowledge truly is the thing that one should thirst for. One will never be upset at discovering more for knowledge.
Indeed. I think my first venture will be these new mines. I do find them rather intriguing.
They are very intriguing, yes. It is a bone of contention that many scholars have not quite managed to unravel yet. However, seeing as we are delving into the mines where they are potentially extracted, we may discover more of them.
I will be a disciple of learning.
Information.
Yes, indeed.
I was going to say, was I listening to this point?
You have heard a fair amount of it, yes.
I'm just nodding like, yes.
Yes, I understand, definitely. Fonts and knowledge.
Yes.
So, I'm guessing you're all still following the path with Amrius.
Yes.
Rag, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. So as you pass around and you continue around the path, you see that there is, at the very base, there is a wooden structure. It is kind of like two logs, and then a third log on top, and it seems to be bearing a fair amount of weight. And you realise that this is actually an entrance.
Is this
Say that again, sir?
Is this to the mines?
Yes, I do believe that this might actually be towards the mine. It's the entrance to the mines itself. If you look here, and he's trying to approach the actual entrance itself, he points to both sides, and there is a crystal embedded into the wall, and it gives off a calming white light. If you see here, I believe we are on the right tracks, and entering in is probably our best course of action.
Well, lead on, Ambrose. I'll follow you.
Mine.
Luckily, one does not need to speak friend and enter, one can just enter.
I'm sorry, I've always wanted to do that.
That is quite alright. There are tales, there are rumours of various dwarven mines where one must solve riddles to even enter.
Well, it's a strange compulsion, but I'm rather content now I've done such.
Okay. So, as you pass by the wooden structure, which is acting as the mine entrance, you notice that the rough path that you were following begins to almost immediately descend. But despite this sudden incline, there is still a fair amount of light that is given off by the numerous crystals that are embedded into the wall at various points. Each of them giving off kind of like an artificial, calming white light. As you look behind you at first, you can still see daylight passing through just above you. But as you all continue to plod through, you can no longer see the entrance, and all aspect of natural light has been extinguished. And all that there is left is the artificial light of the crystals. At first, the crystals themselves seemed calming
but that was only whilst there was still sunlight passing through. With all sunlight gone and the artificial light being all that you see, it's almost slightly unsettling. It's unnatural. The sounds from above ground start fading as well. You can no longer hear the noises of the denizens of Menel, and it fades out completely. The calls of the birds that you could previously hear, along with the rustling of the trees, they all fade away too, until eventually all that's left, the only noises that are permeating silence, are those of your footsteps, just shuffling along, and the occasional clank of your armour. And of course the occasional groan from shifting dirt above you as you continue heading further and further down. The air is still quite stale, but there does seem to be a slight breeze that seems to be leading you further downwards. You are still walking, and each of you seems to have forgotten how long you've been in here for. Time seems to both expand and contract. It feels like you've only been here for minutes, and yet at the same time, you are starting to forget already what the outside world even looks like, smells like, sounds like. You're unsure if you've been walking for minutes or hours. The wind picks up a bit more, still leading you further down. And as you begin to wonder if you will ever actually find an exit through this artificially brightly lit tunnel, you come out into a large, expansive, single chamber cavern.
The Reaper, the Maelstrom, and the Thief is a Dungeons & Dragons show by RollCast. RollCast was JB as Ragnarok, Coogan as Gregor the Last, Gareth Ryan as Iyvak Mileart, and Tom Crabbe as the DM. Intro, midpoint, and outro music were provided by JB. Editing and sound mixing was done by Tom Crabbe. As usual, we'd like to thank the following for allowing us to use their music: Adrian von Ziegler, Alexander Nakarada, Darren Curtis Music, Kevin MacLeod, Michael Ghelfi Studios, Scott Buckley, Sword Coast Soundscapes, and The Seventh Midnight. Full links to all tracks used are in the episode description, so if you like what you heard, please check out these amazing artists. If you like what we do and you want to show your support, then check out our socials. Follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/castthatroll. Follow and tweet at us on Twitter using the handle @castthatroll, and subscribe to our YouTube channel using the handle @castthatroll. You'll be able to get episode updates and random bits of lore and information on both Twitter and Facebook, and our YouTube page has all of our current episodes up in a visual format. Don't want to watch but still want to listen? We got your back. Look for RollCast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Good Pods, and all other podcast platforms. I'd also like to personally thank everyone for being so patient with the delays to this episode. I found myself without internet for a month or so was unable to get this episode up on the planned date. That said, we do have a special, smaller episode coming out in a week. That's the 19th of April, which covers just what Bimit and Gregor got up to when they left the group. And episode 11, Rock You Like a Thunder Wave, releases on the 26th of April. Thank you all again for making it this far. We'll see you again for the next session.
Gregor just kind of like staring off as Amaris is like, what would you like to know about the past of this settlement and how it came to be? Oh, they're already walking away. Okay. Iyvak, would you like to hear about the history of this settlement?
Nah, it's okay.
Just kind of look straight at the camera, just blink once at the camera. Very well, let us make our way through the village.
There's some good world building here that you are missing out on, but nonetheless, let us continue.
Sorry,
other people talk about.
Sorry, yes, of course I'd like to know.
When other people talk about other podcasts and it's great world building, it is normally because one is allowed to talk about the world.